goes into that mode, but don't, man.
It just happens, isn't it? That sometimes you just
Yeah,
go into
I've
a
done
mode,
it.
it's
I've done
unintentional, but it's
I've done
happened.
it bare times.
So it's mad that I'm gonna do this year because I can, and I'm going to. But you see, you as a person, the biggest experience you had in the past was your footballing experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you had the chance to be an academy player.
Yeah.
Happy to kind of say what team it was.
West Ham. Yeah, West Ham.
So West Ham, known to have a lot of talents, like Ferdinand, etc. That time he was there, and obviously you and I share the same age, so in our mid-20s now. So that's what we're looking at. Over 10 years ago now, roughly.
That was last there.
Yeah.
No, bro. Could be what, 6? No,
About,
I was 19 when I left.
okay, so it was just under 10 years.
19.
Okay. So that time you was there, what would you say is kind of like the experience you got when you was playing? Because I know that you played alongside with a lot of players that made it, didn't make it. You played against a lot of players that made it, didn't make it. But for you in particular, that experience as a young player, how was that for you?
Ups and downs, bro. Ups and downs because I always say to people, it depends on what coach you are. Your coach is so important. And I believe there's a manager for a player and a player for a manager. And as you go through academies, you swap through different managers. So you may get to a manager where they don't like you. They think you're a good player, but personally for them, you don't fit how they coach. So you may not get the one-on-one attention you deserve. You may not even get the attention as a group inside of a group that you deserve. So for me, it was a different experience because I felt like some years were up, some years were down, and that wasn't because of my performances. I think it was a lot to do with my environment of who my coach was. When your friends I remember I was there from when I was 9, 10. So your friends who you grew up with, they're slowly dropping off like flies. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's an amazing experience. That's also a traumatizing experience at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I remember I had that chance to kind of play at academy level as well, not in the hierarchy of a West Ham, but I was with Bournemouth, played at Welling, all of that. And I had that feeling because I thought, the longer I'm here, the better chance I have playing first team. The more talent I'm seeing here, the more competitive it is. And as you're saying, the time you were there, it's like you're seeing bare players just getting dropped out like flies.
Bro.
Do you think that's just a common thing in majority of academies now anyway?
100%. What people need to understand is just like...
Why is that though?
It's a mixture of business and it's a mixture of obviously talent. So you got to look at it as you can have a big gene pool of talent, and let's say there's an age group. Let's say they're the golden age group, and near enough every single one of them could be players. Only one of those players is going to play for, let's say, Chelsea or play for Arsenal or play for, and even then that's slim. So now it's like the company, the company, which is what I'm going to call them, because that's what a football club is a company, will sit there and say, who do I make profit off and who don't I? So for me, it's not, a lot of English clubs don't go off of this person talented, this person talented, this person talented, let's give him a chance. They go off of which one of these players is going to make me money.
Yeah.
Fact.
And that's it.
Because
more time they're actually looking, especially nowadays anyway, they're looking at the players from the academy system that are the most profitable. And I feel an example of that is like a Phil Foden. Phil Foden easily could have been a player that they could have just dashed out, got rid of anything. But I feel currently especially because of how the club Man City have become in terms of the way they're structuring, the way that Guardiola's had the time to just manifest and implement what he knows into that system, that club. I've actually seen the documents. I've watched. Not even just me. We've seen thousands of us, hundreds of thousands of us have seen how they've transitioned from a low tier team to a top Premier League and European team, and that's not just because of the money that's been invested, the player names have been. No, it's literally that one individual who's managed to build that credential, because you would never have said this the time when they were still going through the changes, that with the Mark Hugheses and the Mancinis, etc. Because Man City was still adapting, if you will. They were still trying.
I wouldn't say.
Not even adapting.
I would say they were building.
Yeah.
They were putting the pieces to the puzzle to become a bigger club.
And this is their puzzle now. The puzzle's been built. It's there. The only thing that they know they're missing is European competition.
But this is the problem now for players like Phil Foden.
Yeah.
The problem now becomes the club now has to sustain.
Yeah.
It's great getting there, and you use these young players and you use these players that you bought to get there. But when you get there now, it's about sustain. It's about how long can Man City hold this? Mm-hmm. How can you be in Can you be in Champions League every single year? Are you challenging for the title every single year? That's what now as a club like City's aspirations are.
See what's mad about that club, yeah.
So you tell me, where's Phil Foden fitting in?
I was gonna say, like, just to go into a player like him,
it's crazy, bro.
He's a good talent.
It's amazing talent, bro.
But the competition
is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And we already know why the club itself and that company in itself have put themselves in the way they are. It's fortunate, like I said in the beginning, why he's there, how long he's going to be there for, in that same process as how long that he's going to take.
We're going to do it like this. I love him as a player. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was times where I questioned him, for sure.
He's a left-foot attacking midfielder.
This is another player I'm going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I questioned him.
Mm-hmm.
But Raheem Sterling, for me, was very, very fortunate.
How
so? Because when I say it, it's gonna you're gonna go, bro.
How so? That's one of your boys.
Cool. No, it's cool, bro. Listen. You got to remember, I'm a Liverpool fan. He came from Liverpool, but I have to be honest with myself.
Okay.
When I look at him as a player, at the time when he burst through, was he ready? No, he was not. The reason why he played was because Liverpool had no money. We couldn't afford players. And unfortunately, the competition wasn't there.
That's true.
So who fills that void now? Someone from your youth system. Who's the best player in your youth system? Raheem Sterling.
Literally.
And now because as a club, we couldn't afford players. You got to remember, we had freaking midfielders like Paulson and freaking... this was early days when we was wearing Warrior, bro. The fact that we had to go to Warrior to make money,
just before you got the New Balance
shows where Liverpool's at, bro. So we had to play Sterling, and because he had that season and the next to get rid of his mistakes, do anything that he needs to get out of his system. He had that chance. Now you can become that player that Raheem Sterling is now.
Because he always showed the ability that he had
when
he came to the senior team.
And this is what academy players have. They have occasions of where they show their ability. When you become a top player is when you do it consistently. How can you do it consistently if you don't play first team games?
And you see, that's why I hate Chelsea. I hate Chelsea so much as an Arsenal supporter, naturally, but because I'm a football lover and I love to see talent shine. Now, I don't know why Chelsea I'm going to predict about a decade or more, has had an abundance of talents from their academies. They've structured their academy to be a dangerous.
Listen, they are dangerous.
That is dumb.
I'll put it like this. This was the age group I played against. Chalobah.
Dumb.
Ruben Loftus.
We're not talking about Trevor Chalobah. We're talking about
Nathaniel. Nate.
Natty in the middle.
And when I mean Nate was on top, I'm talking Nate was on job.
Damn.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek we played against. There was another player who had his knee injury. We played against Swifty.
Not John Swift.
John Swift.
My guy. I read his name.
Bro.
Listen, he was a techie.
Who else did we play? Bro, if I could name some players, Lucas Piazon.
Yeah.
Lucas Piazon.
He was there that time. You played against him.
Bro, I've played against some players, bro. And
Lucas Piazon.
And let me ask you a question. Where's Lucas now?
I don't ask me.
Where's Swifty now?
You know the part?
Where's Swifty now?
Swifty is
Where's
unfortunate. But Lucas, that's a problem for me because he came into the English setup and
but this is what I'm saying.
I didn't get it.
But this is what I'm saying, bro.
I didn't get it.
Is that these academies are not set up to make players for their clubs. They're set up as, if we get lucky, then great. If not, we make a profit.
That's it.
That's all an academy I see is set up for.
That's
so
it.
for me, when I look at John Swift's talent, when I look at Swifty's talent,
different.
He can play Premier League, bro.
He should be.
For sure. Even remember we had this conversation before this even started. Chuksanike. Benicophobe. I can go down lists of people. There was another player here that I played against who I thought was wavy. Nico Yanaris.
Oh, the versatile G.
You see when he was at Brentford?
My little midge.
Nico.
That's my little midge.
Cold.
He was cold.
Cold.
He was good.
But why are these players not getting these chances in Premier League clubs?
You see something you said, yeah, in terms of your experience, and it might have something to do with
the City setup, the Chelsea situation, Arsenal as a whole. A lot of the player names that you could throw out from an Arsenal academy setup, obviously, it's all through Wenger.
Ridiculous, bro.
The experience you had as a player, you felt that you had that a relationship with management at the time that you could respect, or you had and was happy, or you will always never forget.
Yeah, for sure.
And as a general academy player, that's what's vital to you, because at the end of the day, who's going to give you those opportunities?
Manager.
Cool.
Right.
So that to me, I feel, is probably number one priority as to why the academy setups are so challenging and so difficult as it is, because there is an excuse that the media put out there where they feel clubs are doing this or not. But whether they are or not, regardless, the fans are unhappy.
This is the biggest one I don't like. And this isn't me being sour, this isn't me being salty, this isn't me being nothing. This is me being the person who was in this position and who is now out of this position, and I can look at it from bigger eyes. The Champions League Youth League is a load of crap. The Youth Premier League is a load of crap.
They mean nothing.
But they mean nothing.
They mean absolutely nothing. Yeah.
They mean nothing, bro. But yet, these players depend their lives on these things.
Because that's their competition.
When your brains at those ages, for me, should be, I need to be on loan if I'm not going to be playing first team here.
Literally.
I need to get, at 16, 17, I need to be out playing first team now. I need to start gathering my first team games underneath my belt.
It's all about the credentials. My stats count. My ability as a player is riding on my career. And I'm between the age of 16 to 18. When do I officially become a professional? Between the age of 16 to 17.
It's because it's glorified.
Like,
it's because it's glorified. It's because you want to play Champions League. And if you get a chance as a young player to play in a youth Champions League, I'm doing quotation marks, you get excited about that buzz. However, when you step back and you look at it, you got to ask yourself, what is this going to do for me as a professional player?
Literally.
I would prefer to go Championship or League One from 16, 17
do that. You have
to learn the men's football.
Literally.
I need to know what it is to play against men, because I can play against boys all day long.
All day long.
But when you play against men, it's a different factor. They're not fast, but because now they got power, they catch up to you.
You see that, and then when I have this discussion with people every time, and I know you're going to justify me on this as well, I still feel that the Premier League is so glorified because of the high profile of what it is, the numbers that are involved. And I'm not talking about the numbers of stats, I'm talking numbers of the wages, player profile, who they become. Players don't even have to do much.
Nope.
But because of the way they've established it, so it's enough. Players at a youth level, same thing. Because there's so much money in this game, players at a youth level, they're not even caring about their career no more. But it's only when they have a sit-down conversation or an interview with a brand or whatever, and that's when it's broken up, or that's where they feel that's the need to say this, when it's not true. And I'll be so honest, I don't know why players aren't trying to be like Tammy Abraham, but Tammy Abraham is a big problem.
Because
he's gone out there in the Championship on 2 different occasions, and the Premier League, and on 3 times now, Championship, Premier League, Championship.
For sure.
He's shown what he can do.
So let me put it like this then.
What are you doing?
It's the people you have around you.
1,000.
It's what you're exposed to, and it's what you know. It's like when you go through life and you're in relationships, you can't love that woman, or you can't love that man unless you've learned to love along the way. So how you have learned is what now comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with, so let's say you ain't got an agent, or you have an agent, but this agent sees money.
Mm-hmm.
Now that player is going to become money orientated.
Mm-hmm.
If you get an agent now, so I remember when I got released from West Ham, my agent said to me at the time, "You need to go League One."
Okay.
Me playing for West Ham from the age I was 9, 10, going League One, you must be mad. I wish I went League One, bro.
You should have, yeah.
I wish I went, because I would have realised this is what football is.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to
You
teach
didn't know
you
football
men's
at that time.
football.
But
All you know
just
is the
had your own-
YouTube, and you see the Neymars of the world doing what they were doing at 16, 17. And you see, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's what I was exposed to that effed up my decisions.
Well, I would love to have had the opportunity to be at an academy cell, get released, and still have an opportunity to play
go to these
professionally
clubs.
at these clubs, but at a young age. Do you, like, for me, that's why I'm so passionate about a young player, even though I'm not a qualified scout or a person who's in the sporting industry, but works with you. At the end of the day, as a professional footballer, or just a footballer in general, your career doesn't really start off when you're in your peak season. Because a lot of people love to say that your peak is when you're mid-late 20s.
No way.
No. Your footballing career begins the moment you become a footballer. And the moment you have that opportunity to be in the footballing world, it doesn't stop unless you let it.
Whether you signed at a club at 13, 14, as soon as you put that shirt on,
that's it.
that's your life.
And that's your life. I've been grateful to see young people who 12, 13, 14, 15, even younger, who get to wear a professional badge, but they're just in that academy side week in, week out playing. But they know it, and so they want to get there, but they're not there yet.
They don't get it.
They don't get
it. They don't have someone there. Then this is what this is why support system is one of the biggest things. It's like you don't have no one there telling a 13, 14-year-old that, you know what, enjoy what you're doing, love what you're doing, but the work starts now. You don't get no one telling you that.
Literally.
Your parents want you to be a happy kid. And if that parent doesn't know football, that parent's just growing you to be a happy kid.
For me, it's always been vital to know in this, because we're speaking on it. It's important to know when it is time for you to truly consider your time to grow as a player. And
that's very important.
Because if you're going to start in the professional world before you're 10, you're playing for fun, you're playing and enjoying, you're playing to be better.
Do you know what? I'm so happy you said that. Do you know what's triggered my mind? Do you remember when we went ASOS?
Yeah.
And who did we see there?
Charlie Coker.
And what did I say to you, and what did I say to him when I was there? I said it's time to move, bro.
You need to. Yeah,
it's time to move. It's been too long. And he's waited.
Yeah.
Finally got his move now.
Yeah. Boy.
But he could have got somewhere better if he went earlier. And this is what everyone looked at me like to say I was hating, or I was crazy, or I don't know what I'm talking about.
Maybe because
I know what I'm talking about.
Something someone else sees different, but it's not the case.
No,
you're actually saying it for the better of the person.
Because
I do this
because I've lived it, G.
Yeah.
Bro, I've lived it.
Fam.
I've lived it in my life where I've had decisions and choices that were made too late, and it messed me up. So when I'm giving these young players, or I'm talking to other people about these decisions or what they're making, it's not because I'm hating, it's not because I don't like where you are, it's because I've lived your shoes.
That's it.
And I know the feeling you have, and it feels good to play for these clubs. But however, this club don't care about you.
No.
So the only person you should be caring about right now is yourself. And you got to look at yourself and say, you know what, it's not a problem taking a step down. It's not a problem going to League One or Championship or going abroad somewhere. It's not a problem. But know when it's time to make that decision.